Hello there, World of Tankers. Welcome into the channel. I'm, of course, your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, we are going to be breaking into a pretty solid bundle that is currently available in the World of Tanks Blitz shop. Now, this morning, I was talking about Update 8.5 and the changes that were going to occur in the future of the game. As well, I talked about some of these shadow nerfs and changes you might not have known about Update 8.4. And in that video's comment section, there were a lot of you asking about the Triple Menace bundle here, which contains the Type 59, the 59 Patton, and the Type 64, all fully equipped with free XP boosters, or just boosters in general, obviously garage slots, but as well all with their legendary camouflages. So, we're going to be breaking into that bundle, because I actually think that it is a pretty solid bundle. I mean, we've got Combat Recon next to it, which literally has a Tier 5, a Tier 6, and a 7, and when you compare this bundle, which is 8,000 gold, to one that gives you 2 Tier 8s and a Tier 6, yeah, it's literally light years ahead. However, that does not mean that these tanks are amazing. So I'm going to be breaking into the strengths and weaknesses plus armor profile of these two Chinese, kind of Russian, Tier 8 medium tanks, and as well, with a little bit of extra gameplay, we'll break into the Type 64, didn't mean to click that, as the last tank if any of you want to know how this tank does play. But the main two tanks that everybody wants to know about is the Type 59 and the 59 Patton. So starting off with the Type 59, is this a good tank, or has it been left behind a lot? Well, it's definitely been power crept. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this is currently the best Tier 8 medium in the game, or even close to it. There are vehicles like the Chimera, the Skoda, there's vehicles like the Progetto 46 that just make this vehicle seem very old. However, while it is definitely outdated in certain aspects, it has very good mobility, going 56 kilometers per hour, and a power to weight of 16. Not only that, but its gun still has very good standard pen at 190, 253 on the premium, and with that, it carries 280 damage per shot with 7 degrees of gun depression. It's very rare to see a Soviet kind of style medium tank with 7 degrees of gun depression. I mean, just look at vehicles like the T-44-100 or the T-54 Mod 1, and what's really impressive about this specific vehicle is that the armor profile is very, very comparable to a vehicle like the T-54 Mod 1. In fact, if we make our way over to Armor Inspector, sure, an ML1 aiming at the flat upper plate will penetrate every single time. But judging that this vehicle has 7 degrees of gun depression, if you angle this tank correctly, yeah, you can actually get some pretty impressive bounces on that upper plate, upwards of 225 thick, and even with premium shells, you still will not penetrate because APCR has a much harder time of penetrating through angled armor. Even if we were to load up a vehicle that has fantastic amounts of heat penetration, we go over to vehicles like the IS-6, this thing's upper plate is incredibly thick. You have to actually load calibrated shells to cut through the upper plate. And by the way, don't forget that that turret is 230 at the weakest, and the edges are going up to 500 millimeters thick. Yeah, the Type 59, it may be old, but one thing that will never get old is the incredible armor capabilities. Just one of the big downsides is the damage per minute. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, it's like less than 2,000. Yes, 1,893. Now, yes, I am running calibrated, and if you are running gun armor, you can get it just above 2,000 DPM. But obviously, all of you know I love running my calibrated shells, and since this is one of the worst DPMs for a Tier 8 medium as it is, I don't really mind running calibrated as it is anyway. Now, I do think that the Type 59 is one of the nicest looking vehicles in the game. I think the Chinese honestly have some of the nicest looking tanks. As many of you know, I personally love the look and playstyle of the WZ-111 5A, but I mean, it doesn't just stop at the 5A. There's vehicles like the 34-3, and you've got the Type 59 and the Type 62. There's just so many nice designs. I really enjoy the Chinese looks. I think they're just Russian looks that are a little bit cleaner and a little bit rounder. As we know, Russian turrets are not very round. Most of the time, they're kind of boxy and, well, they're still very low down. I mean, if you compare this design to a T-54, well, they're based off the same tank. But, yeah, IS turrets are all kind of boxy for the most part. Either way, we're pushing our tank over here, and we're going to see what we can do. We got the Progetto off to the side, but I got to be careful. I mean, they got some big, bad tank destroyers as well. Maybe we can slap a shot into you. Boom! Beautiful shell going into the rear of the Progetto. Now, I will say the dispersion, even though I don't know what it is probably not amazing. Oh, we got an AT over here. Yeet! There you go. Another nice tap. But you can see, even though the dispersion may not be amazing on this vehicle, it actually is quite comfortable while driving. There's an SPIC. Oof, but yeah, that DPM, it's not amazing. Now, to be fair, if I was running gun rammer, I probably would have been able to get that shell out. But yeah, The DPM, for the most part, it's nothing amazing, and you're really not going to enjoy this tank if you love DPM-centered vehicles. Now, that is a T-28 Defender, and I know that that vehicle, since it carries an auto-loading gun, is a big threat to my tank. Thankfully, we have penetrated 2 shells on this vehicle so far, and, well, the LTTB is just ramming me. Okay, you go. Go ahead. I'll let you go. Have fun, my dude. Have fun losing your health to whatever it is. The T-28 Defenders. Ooh, you know what, though? Ooh, I want to get a shot into the SP. Boom! Okay, maybe not. Let's try that again. Speed is key. You can see here we're reaching up to that top speed. And, wow, the enemy team is really bleeding like crazy. No! Come on, T-34. Get him! Yes! Okay. Oh, good. As I did say, dispersion, it's not amazing. You're probably not going to hit most of your shells that you are shooting on the move. We do got this Titan TN over here. Let's, oh, okay, we are now spun out, but that's not going to stop me. Nice shell right into his vehicle, and the IS loads a premium shell into his lower plate. With that, we've got 2 T-28 Defenders left, and this is a pretty fantastic battle. As I said, the armor on this vehicle, it is very capable of bouncing shots, and while we didn't really get to showcase that here, hull down, as we saw in Armor Inspector, this thing is really, really strong. So that's one thing to keep in mind, and one thing to know about a vehicle like this if you get it, is that if you use it in the correct scenarios, it will be a very, very capable tank. There's another nice tap into the T-28 Defender, and all that's left is the other T-28 Defender off to the side over here. Although, actually, I thought my team had finished that one off, but nope, turns out they didn't. Fired an HE shell into him, and there you go. That was a pretty solid victory. About 2,127 damage. Nothing insane, obviously, but we did enough that I'm quite happy with how the game performed. We got a 3rd class, so you can clearly see there are people that enjoy the vehicle and do very well in it. So yeah, the Type 59, it really is a strong tank, and I've always really liked the Type 59. It looks amazing, and it's a very flexible tank. Its dispersion, though, yeah, as I said, it's not good. It's .353, aiming time 4.1 seconds. Definitely not great for vehicles that normally come out now, but it's not bad either. This is a tank that if you understand how to play it, if you use it in hull down scenarios, it will do amazing. Even on flat ground, it's kind of like a WZ-121 at tier 10 where you can get troll bounces. The upper plate is thick enough that if you angle it correctly, I mean, we can go back to Armor Inspector here. If you angle this thing correctly, even at an angle like this, that upper plate is about 213 thick. Even with AP, that's about 200 thick. So yeah, you can get some very nice bounces on this vehicle that are very troll, even if you're using just slight angles of gun depression. It's a reason why I've always really enjoyed playing the Type 59. But now we're going to break onto the 59 Patton. Now, honestly, the 59 Patton is literally the same armor. You can see that here, like if we keep it at an angle like this, and then we go to the Type 59, yeah, they're literally the same upper plate. So because of that, the 59 Patton has, again, very good capabilities. On flat grounds, that upper plate is about 185 thick, meaning that actually a lot of tier 6s, or not tier 6s, but tier 7 mediums will bounce right off the upper plate, just like the Type 59. And judging that this vehicle has 10 degrees of gun depression, oh my god, yes, that is right. Even with heat shells and calibrated on, that upper plate is over 300 millimeters thick. The turret as well, 240 on the cheeks. I mean, that is an incredibly thick turret. There's one big weak spot, and that is the cupola. But even the cupola, I mean, it's 180 thick. It's not terrible. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, that is a massive hatch on the roof, a hongala bongala that you will pen every single time if you have the pen to cut through it. But thankfully, it is a tier 8, so I mean, you will come up against people that will not be able to hit that, and it is a very good spot for people to aim at while you're aiming at their hull. One thing that is great about the 59 Patton as well is down to the fact that it has one of the highest DPM values in tier 8, sitting at 2467. Now, I could run calibrated shells on this vehicle and get that up to 295, but yeah, that's actually a little bit too much overkill for me. So this vehicle, it has great DPM at 2467. Its dispersion is good at .308. It's got great aiming time at 3.3 seconds. Penetration's good at 180, 268. Damage per shot, a little bit on the lower end at 225 compared to the Type 59. But 10 degrees of gun depression is honestly fantastic. And when you break into the mobility, sure, it's not as fast as the Type 59 at 50 instead of 56, but it still goes 50, and it's got a great power to weight of 16 still. So this vehicle can move, it can do all the things that you'd want it to, and it's got a Type 59 hull, as you can see, just with a M48 Patton-like turret. In fact, if you didn't know this, the M48 Patton turret on World of Tanks PC is basically this turret just at tier 8. So, yeah, very interesting. Enemy team, what do they got? They got an Emil 1, AMX 1390. Ooh, two very strong tier 9 tanks, the M103 and the E50. Obviously, if I was in a tier 9 or 10, those tanks wouldn't be too deadly. I mean, the M103 can be very strong, but yeah, against tier 8s, those tanks really do dominate. Now, one thing I will say is I'm not sure if I can penetrate a vehicle's turret like the Emil with actually outrunning calibrated. That's one of the reasons why I love Cali so much, so that's something I probably should keep in mind. So we'll see how we do, but honestly, 270 millimeters of premium pen, I mean, that should be plenty to cut through any armor. So let's get our way into position here. A little bit slow up that hill, but I'm actually not sure how the terrain resistance is on this tank. Probably not amazing. But there's that E50, and there's a nice tap right into the side of his vehicle. Now, one thing that is nice is because, unlike the Type 59, this vehicle has high DPM and a much lower alpha, you can actually get some really quick punches into enemy tanks. Ooh, okay, well, we hit the observation device, but did not end up damaging the vehicle. Very interesting, right? We got the WZ-111 off to the side. Maybe we can tap a heat shell in. Boom, boom, boom. That was actually a really nice heat shell, too. Did not expect that to penetrate, but you never know. Let's aim it on the T-34, too. Nice tap into his vehicle once, and maybe we'll be able to get another one out. You never know. Ooh, we got actually a lot of tanks here. Got the Pantera up top. Let's use that good dispersion. Nice tap there. And as you can see, our turret got a fantastic bounce as that armor is working as it should. So we're doing pretty good so far. I mean, obviously we're not doing anything insane. We're just playing the tank as it should be. But because of that, we're doing pretty good on damage here. Not able to pen that E50, but there you go again. Nice bounce right on the mantlet. This is really comparable. If anybody wants to know what the turret armor is very comparable to, I would say more like a type, not a type, a M48 Patton. That's what I would most compare it to because it is very, very similar. Oh, a little bit of lag there, but let's poke this and see if we can get a shell into you. Thank you very much, good sir. Let me put on my DPM as well so that my teammate doesn't get shot. And there you go, finishing off the enemy. Was that the WZ-111? So, what do we have? T-34-2. Oh, man, the entire enemy team is kind of just pushing in there. We got the E-50 off to the side, who might end up finishing off my teammate, but, well, we're going to finish him off as well. Hello, goodbye. All right, we got the M103 over here. Let's aim in some shells on his vehicle. Aiming. Okay. Apparently, they have all flexed over to shoot me. I did not think that T-34-2 was honestly over where my vehicle was. Alright, so I gotta be careful about that. Obviously, that's not something I really want to play with. But what I do want to do is get my tank over here. Maybe we can get some nice shells out. Ooh, hello, T-34-2. But I still got a teammate over here. We got the Ag Panther, which is good. And I've got an Action 10. So it's not like I'm alone. Let's use this mobility, get up this hill, and maybe we can get some shells into the Pantera or even the AMX 1390. Obviously, carrying 10 degrees of gun depression makes this tank incredibly flexible on literally every terrain. So even though we are very high up here, we're easily able to get a shell into that T-34 too, and maybe even get a premium shell into the Emil 1's turret. There you go, easy tap into his turret. And we should be able to get one more into his lower plate. Thank you very much, good sir. Now we got tanks like the Pantera off to the side, and because we got such a quick reload, finish him off. I mean, this is just what the tank is great at doing. It's just got such a nice gun for dumping shot after shot after shot into the enemy. And obviously the armor, as we went over, it's pretty good. I mean, you can get a lot of comfortable bounces using this tank. So we're going to finish off the T-34 too, like so, and now we've got to finish off the M103. We're going to load a heat shell, and I'm going to make sure that penetrates his lower plates, and with that we are over 3,000 damage. So all that's left on the enemy team is the AMX, and I don't know where he is, which is a little bit nerve-wracking because I am a one-shot. Sacrificed a bit of my health there in the end to make sure I was clearing that enemy M103, so that is why I'm going to recoup with the rest of my team, which should hopefully stop me from being killed. If you use it at medium ranges, use it hull down, kind of like an STB-1. Sure, you will be occasionally shot in that hatch, but overall, I mean, you can clearly see here, this was a very solid game. No! Oh, that sucks so much. I really thought we could snap him, but hopefully our IS-8 is, or whatever. I guess I'm just going to skip till the end of this battle. That sucks. I am always greedy for damage, as most of you know. And here we are, about to finish off the game with a victory. I don't even know what this 1390 was doing. He just kind of ran around, and that was about it. But either way, pretty solid victory, if I do say so myself. We did over 3,000 damage, and in Tier 8 attributes, that's enough for a mastery. So clearly you can see that the Type 59 Patton is also a fantastic vehicle. It's got some very good hull-down capabilities. Not very good. I would say that this is a fantastic tank for hull-down. I mean, you already saw the armor of the turret. The hull is great. We got a lot of bounces in this battle against the WZ-111. We got some against the T-34 too, the P-44 Pantera, and even the E-50, which is a Tier 9 medium. So I personally really enjoy both of these tanks, and while they may not be the most relevant in the current meta and day and age of 2021, by no means are these bad tanks, and if you know how to run any medium, you'll probably be doing fine in them alone. Now personally, I think that this bundle is actually a pretty good deal. I mean, you can get both of them alone for 5,000 gold, and when you compare that to vehicles that normally hit the store, vehicles like the Centurion Mark 5-1 RAAC, that was I think 8,500 gold. I mean, you're getting 3 tanks for basically the same price as 1. And sure, while the RAAC may be more, should I say, influential to the battlefield over an extended period of time, it can probably bounce more shells. One thing that I will say is, honestly, these tanks are not bad. You will not lose a lot of games if you understand how to play them. Now, obviously, that is a big emphasis on understand, because if you just pull these things out and expect to win every game, that's not how these work, you know? It's like every tank in the game. You can't pull out a smasher and just expect to win every time. So that's one thing to keep in mind. But yeah, honestly, I think they're super fun tanks to play, and I personally believe that this is a really good deal. It's rare to see super cheap tanks come out like this. I mean, every now and then we'll have like the WZ-112-2 deal come out with the Type 62 Dragon, but honestly, this is a pretty good one as well, and I would suggest for anybody that likes that Russian type style DPM, it's not a bad tank. So, what do we have in the enemy team for the final one, which is the Type 64? Well, we got a Dreadnought, but really, they don't have any mobile tanks that I have to worry about. So, because of that, I was easily able to conquer this hill. Now, oh, there's that lag spike again. Now, one thing about the Type 64 is, oh my god, wow, these lag spikes are every second. But as I was saying, one thing about the Type 64 that's really nice is just the vehicle itself. It's super mobile, and that is a really fun thing. I mean, mobility, as we know, is something that makes the game fun. People love playing the Dracula because the tank is so ridiculously fast. However, to get that mobility, you do sacrifice a lot sometimes. And with this vehicle, you are sacrificing literally everything that comes to, should I say, armor? Yeah, it really doesn't have any. So vehicles like this Nightmare, if played correctly, can ruin my game very, very quickly. Thankfully, it was not played correctly. So because of that, we were able to use that guy's, should I say, incompetence and come out with a pretty solid game so far. Now we got that ARL off to the side. Unfortunately, as I did go over, this tank literally has 0 armor. Also, another thing is that it has very little penetration. So because of that, yeah, it is a very interesting vehicle. I do think it's super fun, though. I mean, if you know how to play this thing correct, it is a very, very influential tank out there because it's got good gun depression. If I'm not mistaken, it actually has like 8 or 10 degrees. I might be wrong. I know that it has that much on PC, but yeah, you can clearly see the armor on the tank. It's definitely lacking. But DPM is actually not bad. If you can penetrate your enemy, you will actually have a pretty solid DPM. I mean, we just ripped into that Churchill. And, yeah, he probably didn't enjoy that all too much. Now we got the ARL off to the side. I mean, obviously, this isn't up against Tier 7s. Vehicles like the Smasher will ruin your day. But, yeah, I actually think this is a pretty fun tank. Here we go. Skibidi beep beep. Oh, you know what? Let's get some more shells out into you. Let's go for the turret. There you go. Nice shot in there. But, ooh, nice tap actually back there. Let's see if we can use this mobility and just get off to the side of these tanks. Alright, goodbye, nice knowing you all, and we are gone. If you didn't know, this is actually one of the fastest Tier 6s in the game. In fact, I think it is tied with the MT-25 at 72 or so kilometers per hour, which is ridiculous when you do think about it. Let's get one final shell in there, finishing off the ARL, and there you have it. That is the Type 64. Just a little nice addition to the bundle. I don't think this vehicle is going to be anything insane if you do pick it up. I mean, that was a nice game of 1,900 damage, which is pretty solid. But I just want to check, is the gun depression? Nah, it is 8. Ah, that's a shame. But, I mean, either way, 8 degrees is plenty. As I did say, though, that pen, oof, 125 on 177. I mean, if we compare that to any other Tier 6, you will definitely see that that is just really bad pen. Like the Ox here, this vehicle's sitting at 128, 172. So, and that's obviously with rammer. So, Yeah, the pen on the Type 64 is just, it's not amazing. You will struggle, but I guess that's how it is for most of the Tier 6 lights and mediums. Hopefully, all of you enjoyed today's video. As I said, I think it's a great deal. If any of you like that type of playstyle that you saw me show here, then yeah, I would suggest to pick it up. Pretty good bundle and pretty good tanks. Obviously, I'm not going to showcase the armor of this vehicle because, well, the front is literally like 10 millimeters thick. I think this vehicle's based off of a Hellcat, so yeah, its armor's not amazing. But either way, hopefully you enjoyed today's video, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye!